Hey guys, you're listening to Vol. Tonight I played a game of War Machine and it was 50 points between Mohsar, Circle of Orboros, against Cryx with Terminus. And haven't been playing a lot of games at 50 points lately. I had a couple of practice games against Josh with Mohsar against Nemo, E-Nemo that is, and then E. Kruger against E-Nemo. Those games went quite well, but Lee's quite good with Cryx, and obviously I was going to have my work cut out for me, and also forgot my normal camera that I take along to some of these games. So what I decided to do was just take a few photos with my iPhone just in case it turned out to be an interesting game. And it did turn out to be an interesting game. So of the few photos that I did take, I'll explain what happened. If you check the video description, you'll see a write-up regarding which models were included in our 50-point armies. So survey those and just see what you think. The photo that you're looking at right now was taken, partway through the game. I think Lee's turn 1 or turn 2. What's happened here is that all of my infantry's moved up into the centre, and I've put down a few pillars just to block the advance of his Bane Thralls and Bane Knights. But I knew that strategically this was going to be a very difficult game to win with the matchup. What I was trying to simulate here is a situation where, even though this particular game is not a tournament game, I wanted to be in a situation where I had to choose between two circle lists at 50 points against a Cryx opponent. And I think in a situation like this, if I had, say, Chromac and Mohsar, or Chromac and E. Kruger, or E. Kruger and Mohsar, Mohsar would generally be the wrong guy to take. I think the other casters have a better option. And with the November tournament coming up, I'm going to be taking two casters, and those two casters are either going to be Chromac, E. Kruger, or Mohsar, and it'll be two out of those three, most likely. But I've put prey on the mechanized thralls and deployed the blood trackers to the left, which I feel is a big strategic error. The reasons why that's not a good idea is because Lee's a smart enough player to not let me kill all the mechanized thralls in one turn, preventing him from reviving them. And if he moves Terminus over nearby, which he will, that means that they can make tough rolls, so I definitely can't actually kill them all in one round, because some of them will be tough and be knocked down, and then he'll bring all of the mechanized thralls back and start hammering at my blood trackers. The other thing I didn't realise was the fact that they have 2 attacks each, so even though I'm defense 14, his rat is 5, he only needs 9s to hit, he gets to attack twice. So that was always going to be a problem. But moving the druids up in the middle, counter magic affecting my entire army at this point, and just waiting for his infantry to come up. I'm trying to sort of buy myself some time there while I figure out a way of dealing with the left-hand flank where I feel as though I'm stronger. Next photo shows you where Mohsar has ended up. He's just hanging at the back of the lines, and one thing I quite like about having the druids up the front with a lot of vortex clouds going up is that Mohsar can actually get quite close to the enemy without being shot or spells cast them due to counter magic, so that his control range affects more of the enemy. He can put pillars down in better areas, and he's got more opportunities to get in with Sands of Fate and cause some havoc. So really looking forward to playing Mohsar a lot more in future and coming up with clever ways to win with him. But there are going to be some matchups where things are hard for him, and I feel as though this is one of them. Lee's really good at designing Cryx lists, in my opinion, well, compared to the other people that I play with locally. So I knew this game was going to be very difficult from the outset, and seeing his army deploy with so much infantry that really is superior to my infantry in a lot of ways, I knew it was going to be a really tough ask to try and win this game. But Megalith is in there, and I've been taking Megalith in my 50-point list as well as the Druids, and the other new units that I've painted up lately, you guys can see that I'm painting them up a little bit, and really been enjoying the tactical opportunities that they offer me. Next image, you can see Lee moving his guys forward. He's got a Death Jack in his arm, and he's got Terminus at the back. So just the one Jack. My feat is going to be useless this game, but if Terminus times his feat well, he's going to be invulnerable for a round pretty much. He's got lots of troops heading forward with Tartarus at the back. I was thinking about trying to get Sands of Fate shenanigans going on to try and kill Tartarus with a blood tracker moving up, then Mohsar taking its place, firing maybe a spray at Tartarus, boosting it, then killing him and coming back. But I couldn't see any good opportunity to do that, especially with the blood trackers deployed on the opposite side of the field. Next image again, having a look at Lee's his movement of his mechanized thralls. You can see at the top left corner of the photo there's one thrall which he's left, and it looks like he's just outside of 16 inches of my blood tracker on the left, top leftmost of my formation there. Because I'd cast a Mirage on the unit giving them Apparition, I figured I might be able to place them within 2 inches and then run one of them over there and kill that lone guy, and then use the rest of the team to essentially shoot the rest down with javelins. Anything that survived, maybe I could mop up with Crevasse, Geomancy from the Wolds. But once he moved Terminus a lot closer, I realised I just wasn't going to be able to do that. Plus, I mean, I'd have to roll decently well on my attack and damage rolls. If I, rolled anything really, really low, then that could screw up the entire plan. And of course, if I don't kill all of the models in the unit, he can put 6 back in play and just start attacking me, and that's going to delay the blood trackers for turn after turn, and the right-hand flank's going to crumble and I'm going to get overrun. So quite worried about how the game's going in general. So next image, here's Lee's position at the end of his turn 1 or 2, can't remember what it was. He's generally moved everything, kept everything fairly spread out. I've got a Druid Overseer in my army, but he's not going to get a lot of opportunities to kill a lot of things, because if he uses it to attack the Bane Knights, it'll trigger their vengeance. But if he attacks the mechanized thralls, well, they're just going to come raised back to life. So at this point, I'm just hanging back, casting some clouds, waiting for him to come a bit closer, and seeing if I can spot any mistakes that he possibly makes, and then I'll have to play out from there. But just generally, Lee's played this a lot better strategically, and I'm going to have to try and win the game tactically if I'm to have a chance here. So next image, just another point of view photo where I've taken my turn, and what I've done here is I've moved the blood trackers around and I've tried to kill as many mechanized thralls as I can. Turned out to only be about 4 or 5 of them. So what that means is he's going to be able to put them all back in play and retaliate, which is going to be quite bad for me. I was hoping to get some Crevasse action going on, but every time I fired Crevasse, he passed his tough roll for the mechanized thrall, which was annoying. I did try and take out some of those scrap thrall guys, the ones that collect the dead bodies, but couldn't take them out either due to tough. Terminus has just moved too close. So what I've ended up doing here is I've pulled the guys back a bit, and if you look carefully at the photos, the white circles represent Druid Vortex clouds. However, the other blast templates of 3-inch size of various different plastic and cardboard make represent the Pillars of Salt. So the Pillars of Salt have been placed in front of the Druids just to prevent him from charging me next turn with most of his stuff. Got the Stalker camping in the forest, just waiting for an opportunity to move up and use Berserk and kill a whole lot of infantry, but on the other hand, I don't really want to waste the Stalker either, because if he starts camping focus with Terminus later on in the game, the Stalker's going to be the only way to actually kill like an Armor 24 Terminus if he's using Primal and possibly with Curse of Shadows. So that's really going to be my hope to win later if it comes down to that. So next image, he does indeed bring back the mechanized thralls. These guys start attacking the blood trackers, kill 2 or 3 of them, and at this point I realise I know I'm going to have a really hard time and most likely lose, unless I can think of something clever, because the blood trackers are now useless. I really should have put the blood trackers on the other side of the field, used prey on the Bane Knights, and had them just rush up or the Bane Thralls rather, and rush up and attack them and try and kill as many as possible and use quick work, because that's worked well for me in the past, and try to come up with some other way of dealing with the mechanized thralls, possibly with Megalith, I don't really know. But yeah, it's going to be a tough ask in the centre. So going to the next photo, what he has done is, in his follow-up turn, he's moved Terminus up very close to my lines, and he's camped 6 focus. So this is where the game starts to get interesting. I was really watching him as he placed his models, and I saw that he was leaving a gap for Terminus, and he was umming and ahhing about using the feat, but he's decided not to. So that means that Terminus has no soul tokens on him, but he's planning on really just playing the trump card in the next turn, and if I can't kill Terminus or do anything damage to his guys here, what's going to happen is he's going to retaliate, he's going to feat, he's going to crush me with all sorts of bad stuff. So, playing my turn carefully here, I look carefully at the battlefield and I realise that there might be a way I can actually kill Terminus. The problem being he's armor 24 at the moment, and Gorman de Wolf, the mercenary, has put down a cloud next to Terminus, so his defense is very high as well. So at the point at which this photo is taken, I'm halfway through my assassination plan. What's happened is that I've used the Blood Tracker's activation first to kill the Bane Knights, which are blocking the distance between Megalith and Terminus. So they've killed a couple of guys in front of him in melee. Then I've used Reform to move the Blood Trackers out of the way. Next, I activated Mohsar, who used Sands of Fate to replace one of the blood trackers. You can see him there in the left-hand side of the photo. He's used his spray to attack two of the Bane Knights still remaining in the way of the general vicinity. He's managed to boost an attack roll and kill the one between Megalith and Terminus, but not the other one. The other one was knocked down, that's why it's got a little star marker next to it. He's also put Curse of Shadows on Terminus thanks to a really good magic roll, despite having quite high defense. Mohsar's Fury is 8, so that usually does the job. Fury 8, yeah. So next, what I've done is I've moved my druids around into a position where they're trying to force bolt Terminus, because at the moment, Megalith is about 6 inches away from Terminus. Now, what I don't want to do is charge Terminus with Megalith, because the plan here is to bring him out of the cloud and bring him so close to my army that the Stalker can actually charge Terminus and kill him. But at the moment, the Stalker's about 16, 17 inches away, so that's not going to happen. So what I decide to do here is move the druids around in my next activation to try and take out Terminus, and the difficulty of that being that they're going to need 9s to hit with Force Bolt, with the Overseer needing an 8 to hit, and there's 6 of them all together. Now, if I can even get one hit, it's going to bring Terminus forward at least 1 inch, so that Megalith can then move forward with speed 5, and then possibly throw Terminus in the direction of the Stalker. That's my plan B. Plan A is to get enough hits, luckily, with the druids to bring him far enough forward that the Stalker will be able to charge him regardless. If you go to the next photo, here's the current situation where the Stalker is... If I want to, I can move the druids out of the way and the stones out of the way, and he has enough distance through the forest to see through the forest to Terminus, but I'm going to have to force bolt Terminus close enough to Megalith to actually manage that. He's going to have to be within 11 inches to get the reach action happening. Going to the next photo, what ends up happening is that I plant my druids in the right position, and I go first with the Overseer, because he's got the best chance of hitting. Fails his hit roll. Tries again with another of the druids to the left. Again a fail, needing a 9. Then the third roll, I was lucky enough to get the 9, pulling Terminus 1 inch away out of the cloud. I had 3 more druids to activate, and between the 3 of them needing 7s to hit, I got a couple more hits and dragged Terminus close enough to the blood trackers so that Megalith, all he had to do was just move around, and at this point Terminus is within 11 inches of the Stalker. Now, importantly, Megalith moves around and he boosts a hit against Terminus. This is without his Animus, mind you, because I needed to save some Fury points here. But the important part of this is that Megalith smashes Terminus in the face and boosts damage. And of course, weight of stone allows the defense to drop by 3 at this stage, so it's a lot easier to hit him. So Megalith burns through about 4 points of Fury, smashing at Terminus and getting some really high rolls. One of my damage rolls was a 5, 5, and a 4, which is 14 points of damage. 14, you know, in terms of the roll anyway. So plus his power plus strength of 16 equals 30. Terminus's armor 24 at this point, -2 for Curse of Shadows. That's an 8 damage roll. Terminus has got heaps of boxes, but this means that because he's so weakened by the Megalith, he'll be a lot easier to kill with a Stalker. So things going all right so far. Things ran into a bit of a hitch also when the Walled Warden tried to move in. I had to try and trample one of my own druids to get across him, but didn't quite work, and I was stuck back there, so there was nothing much I could do. I think I attempted a crevasse at one point, but only managed to 1 point damage. And then if we go to the final photo, the Stalker charges through, just barely has enough range to get into reach, and hacks at him. Of course, the Terminus defense value is quite low at this stage. The Stalker has primal on him thanks to the nearby Gorax, and it takes me a couple of hits to get him. He's got a tough roll, which he attempts, and I was thinking, oh god, don't pass 3 tough rolls in a row, which would have totally robbed the game from me, but luckily he didn't, and I managed to win. So a very surprising and fascinating win here, having to pull through a lot of clever activations to get the victory. My opponent simply could have kept Terminus back and won the game very easily by not committing him. He didn't really need Terminus to be so close, but my opponent thought he'd be a little bit greedy and just try and shut me down permanently by moving Terminus out there and then feeding and then just causing me all sorts of problems. So had I not managed to assassinate him, I would have been straight out dead. There would have been no way I could have recovered from that game. But I hope you guys enjoyed this talk and got something out of it. There's been a lot of discussion on druids lately about how they're not really as good as stuff that can actually do a lot of damage. I've been enjoying them, to be honest. I really love the fact that you can counter magic and make your entire army immune to enemy spells, and in situations like this, Force Bolt can really save the day. Having said that, though, you've got to bear in mind that in a different list where I didn't have druids, I might have had a better chance of winning the game without having to rely on a desperate assassination, and that's always a more favourable situation to be in. So maybe druids aren't the answer, maybe they are. That's for you guys to decide, but thanks for watching my battle reports as usual. Catch up with you next time.